The synthetic flesh on Maya Chen's knuckles split against the training dummy's armor plating, sending droplets of engineered blood spattering across the combat deck. Pain receptors fired in perfect simulation, but she welcomed it. Better fake agony than real memories of Earth burning in the viewports of evacuation ships. Again, she whispered, resetting her stance. The holographic opponent materialized, towering 8 feet of Vorthack muscle and chitinous plating. Academy records listed her as Kira Vex, a war refugee from the outer colonies. What they didn't know was that humanity's greatest tactical mind had been hiding in plain sight for 3 years, waiting for the perfect moment to remind the galaxy why they'd made a terrible mistake. Vex! The voice cracked like a whip across the training bay. You're sparring with Thane today. Maya's synthetic heart skipped a beat. Thane Korrath, the Academy's golden boy, undefeated in 73 matches, and heir to the Korrath military dynasty that had orchestrated humanity's exile. She'd been avoiding this moment, but Command Instructor Zara had other plans. The massive Korrath entered the sparring circle, his crimson scales gleaming under the arena lights. For arms, each capable of crushing steel, flexed as he sized up his opponent. Student spectators gathered around the elevated platform, sensing blood in the water. Try not to embarrass yourself too badly, Vex, Thane rumbled, his voice carrying that signature Korrath arrogance. I'll make it quick. Maya pulled her synthetic lips into what passed for a smile. How considerate. I'll return the favor. The combat instructor, a grizzled hegemony veteran named Voss, stepped between them. His 6 eyes tracked both fighters with mechanical precision. Standard Academy rules. First unconscious, or yield loses. Begin in 3, 2. Thane lunged before the count finished, a classic Korrath intimidation tactic. His lower arms swept low while his upper hands reached for a grapple. Textbook technique, designed to overwhelm smaller opponents. Maya wasn't there. She pivoted on her back foot, letting momentum carry her under his guard. Her elbow found a nerve cluster below his primary shoulder joint with surgical precision. Thane's left side went numb, his confident expression melting into confusion. Impossible, he snarled, spinning with surprising speed for his size. That's a classified Korrath weakness point. Is it? Maya danced backward, synthetic muscles coiling for the next exchange. Must have read it in a book somewhere. The crowd murmured. Voss leaned forward, his mechanical eyes whirring as they focused. In 3 years of Academy records, nobody had ever exploited Korrath anatomy that precisely, not even other Korrath. Thane's attack pattern shifted, becoming more methodical, professional. 2 of his arms feinted high, while the others swept low, a technique Maya recognized from the Battle of Proxima Station. She'd watched Korrath heavy infantry use it to devastating effect against human defenders, right before she glassed their entire armor division with a jury-rigged mining laser. The memory brought heat to her synthetic cheeks, and she channeled that anger into movement. Instead of retreating, she stepped into Thane's guard, catching his wrist and using his momentum to flip him onto his back. The training deck shuddered under his weight. Silence stretched across the combat bay. Thane stared at the ceiling, his breathing ragged, while Maya stood over him with barely a synthetic hair out of place. Yield, he whispered. The crowd exploded into shock chatter. Command Instructor Voss approached the platform, his expression unreadable. Cadet Vex, report to my office after classes. Immediately. Maya's stomach dropped. In the Academy's rigid hierarchy, private meetings with senior staff rarely ended well for students who stood out too much, especially students with forged identity documents and a burning desire for revenge. Voss's office occupied a corner of the Academy's command tower, its panoramic windows offering a view of the training grounds and beyond them, the sprawling metropolis of new hegemonia. Ships came and went from orbital platforms like mechanical insects, their drives painting brief stars against the perpetual twilight. Sit. Voss gestured to a chair across from his desk. His mechanical eyes continued their constant micro-adjustments, analyzing, recording, processing. Maya remained standing. If this is about the sparring match, it's about what you are. The words hit like a physical blow. Voss leaned back in his chair, his expression shifting from professional detachment to something approaching curiosity. 3 years, Cadet Vex. For 3 years, you maintained perfect academic scores while deliberately losing just enough combat matches to avoid suspicion. But today, instinct overrode caution. The synthetic skin on Maya's palms grew slick, with engineered perspiration. I don't know what you're implying, sir. I'm not implying anything. I'm stating facts. Voss activated a holographic display. Showing Maya's academy records alongside a second profile she recognized with a jolt of terror. Maya Chen, former admiral of the Terran Deep Strike Fleet, presumed dead at the Battle of Seoul. Reports of your death were greatly exaggerated. The carefully constructed walls of Kira Vex crumbled in an instant. Maya straightened, letting her real posture emerge, the bearing of someone accustomed to command, to making life-and-death decisions while plasma fire lit the void around her. "So, what now?" she asked quietly. "Execute the war criminal? Turn me over Korrath justice?" Voss laughed, a sound like grinding gears. "Cadet Chun, if I wanted you dead, we wouldn't be having this conversation. No, I have a rather different proposition." The holo display shifted, showing star charts Maya hadn't seen in 3 years. The outer rim, where scattered human colonies struggled to survive without support from their destroyed homeworld. Red markers indicated hegemony patrol routes, while yellow highlighted resource extraction operations. "Humanity is dying," Voss continued. "Slowly, quietly, but dying nonetheless. Cut off from Earth's industrial base, your scattered settlements lack the infrastructure to maintain their technology. Within a generation, most human colonies will regress to pre-spaceflight levels. And you care because—" Maya's voice carried decades of accumulated bitterness. "Because dead civilizations don't buy weapons." Voss's honesty was refreshing, if cynical. "The hegemony thrives on conflict, Admiral. Humans were our best customers. Innovative, aggressive, always ready to try new tactical approaches. Your extinction represents a significant market loss." Maya processes information, her strategic mind already identifying the implications. "You want humanity back in the game, but not as equals, as valued clients. There's a difference." Voss manipulated the display, zooming in on a sector Maya knew well. The synthesis war has been escalating for months. The ethereal collective believes it can force a quick victory through technological superiority. They're wrong, but conventional tactics won't demonstrate that fact convincingly. Conventional tactics. Maya tasted the words, finding them bitter. Meaning you need someone willing to think outside established doctrine. Meaning we need a human. Voss deactivated the display, his mechanical eyes focusing on Maya with unsettling intensity. "The Academy's war games begin in 48 hours. 500 of our best cadets are competing in live-fire exercises using actual warships and weapons. The winning team receives immediate commissions and first choice of postings." Maya saw the trap closing, elegant in its simplicity. "And if my team wins, then humanity gets to rejoin galactic civilization. Conditional membership in the hegemony, with full trading rights and military protection." Voss paused, letting the offer sink in. "Of course, you'll need to do it without revealing your true identity. Command structure would never accept orders from a known war criminal, regardless of tactical brilliance." The weight of 3 years' careful deception pressed against Maya's shoulders. Everything she'd sacrificed, every night she'd lain awake listening to synthetic blood pumped through artificial veins, had led to this moment. "What's the catch?" she asked. "You'll be competing against Thane Korrath's team. He knows something's unusual about you now. Today's performance guaranteed that. If he discovers your identity before the exercises conclude—" Voss shrugged. "Well, accidents happen in war games." Maya considered this, running probability calculations with a cold precision that had made her the youngest admiral in human history. The odds weren't favorable, but they were better than watching humanity slowly suffocate in exile. "I'll need a team I can trust," she said finally. "Already arranged. Report to Base 7 at 0800 tomorrow. Your squad is unconventional. Base 7 turned out to be a converted cargo holed deep in the Academy's lower levels, far from the pristine training facilities used by elite students." Maya arrived early, using the time to examine her assigned vessel, a heavily modified corvette that had seen better decades. Cheerful, isn't she? The voice belonged to a tall woman with violet hair and laugh lines around her eyes. I'm Zara Okafor, your designated engineer and apparent co-conspirator. Maya studied her supposed teammate, noting callous hands and the slight tremor that marked career spacers. You know who I am. Voss briefed me. Don't worry, I've got my reasons for wanting to stick it to the hegemony establishment. Zara's smile turned predatory. They killed my entire family at Kepler Station, then offered me academy admission as compensation. Losing everyone you love makes you a valuable recruitment target. Before Maya could respond, footsteps echoed through the bay. Their remaining teammates appeared from the shadows, a nervous-looking Altarian pilot named Jean, whose species had been enslaved by the Korrath for generations, and a hulking Vorthak warrior called Brutus, whose scarred carapace suggested extensive combat experience. So, Brutus rumbled, his voice like grinding stone. We're the misfits and outcasts, tasked with defeating the Academy's golden children. This should be entertaining. Jean chittered nervously, his antenna twitching. The Korrath team includes 6 members. We have 4. Perhaps Instructor Voss miscounted. No miscount, Maya said, settling into the captain's chair. Smaller teams move faster. Think more flexibly. Numbers aren't everything in space combat. Easy to say when you're not facing Thane's battle group, Zara muttered, running diagnostics on their ship's ancient systems. He's got 3 heavy destroyers and a command cruiser. We've got... She gestured around the cramped bridge. This. Maya activated the tactical display, studying the war game's parameters. The exercise would take place in the Kepler Nebula, a region of space littered with asteroid fields and sensor-dampening gas clouds. Perfect terrain for unconventional tactics. Zara, what do you know about resonance drives? The engineer blinked. Theoretical tech. Never successfully implemented because the power requirements are insane and the safety margins non-existent. Why? Because our little corvette has the perfect power plant for experimental modifications. Maya's smile carried echoes of the tactical brilliance that had once made hegemony admirals wake up in cold sweats. Tell me, haven't you ever heard of the Terran concept called guerrilla warfare? 47 hours later, Maya watched Thane's battle group deploy through the corvette's sensor array, 3 destroyers in standard escort formation, with his command cruiser holding the center position. Textbook hegemony doctrine executed with mechanical precision. Target acquisition confirmed. Jean reported from the pilot station. His nervousness had transformed into focus intensity during their hasty preparations. They're conducting a standard search pattern, moving through Grid 7 Alpha. Just like the simulation predicted, Brutus added with satisfaction. Korrath tactical doctrine hasn't evolved in centuries. Maya nodded, her attention focused on sensor readings from deeper in the nebula. The modifications Zara had made to their drive systems were holding, barely, but the real test would come under combat stress. All stations, prepare for Operation Phantom Strike. Remember, timing is everything. Their corvette slipped through the nebula like a ghost, using the sensor-dampening effect of ionized gases to mask their approach. Maya had chosen their route carefully, threading between asteroid clusters that would provide cover and escape routes. Contact. Jin's antenna straightened. Destroyer Vengeance, bearing 27 Mark IV. Range, 30,000 kilometers in closing. Initiating resonance pulse. Zara announced from engineering. Power levels climbing. Steady at 90%. Holding. The corvette shuddered as exotic energies built within its modified drive core. What Zara had accomplished in 2 days of frantic work should have taken a dedicated research team months to perfect, but necessity had proven a powerful motivator. Fire, Maya ordered. The resonance pulse erupted from their ship in all directions, a wave of gravitational distortion that interacted with the nebula's charged particles in ways hegemony science had never anticipated. For a few seconds, their corvette became effectively invisible to conventional sensors. Thane's destroyer passed within 500 meters of their position, its crew completely unaware of the enemy vessel hiding in their sensor shadow. Phase 2, Maya whispered. Jean, Take us in close. Brutus, prepare boarding charges. The Altarian's piloting skills shone as he maneuvered their corvette into the destroyer's blind spot, matching velocity and vector with precision that would have impressed Academy instructors. Magnetic grapples extended, locking onto the larger ship's hull with barely audible clicks. "This is insane," Zara muttered, but her hands moved confidently over the engineering controls. "Boarding a destroyer with 4 people?" "5 people," Maya corrected. "And we're not boarding it. We're redecorating." Brutus launched himself through the airlock, his powered armor allowing him to work in the vacuum between ships. The charges he placed weren't designed to destroy. They were carefully positioned to disable specific systems while leaving the crew unharmed. "Charges set," he reported. "Targeting sensor arrays, communication systems, and maneuvering thrusters. Detonate and withdraw," Maya ordered. The destroyer shuddered as its sensor arrays went dark and communication equipment failed. Without sensors or communications, the vessel was effectively blind and mute, alive but unable to contribute to the battle. "1 down, 3 to go," Zara observed. "Think they notice?" Her question was answered by proximity alarms as the remaining destroyers converged on their position. Thane's voice crackled over emergency frequencies, tight with controlled fury. "Unknown vessel. Identify yourself immediately. You violate Wargames protocols." Maya activated their communication system, letting her real voice emerge for the first time in 3 years. "This is Admiral Maya Chen of the Terran Fleet. Protocols are for people who expect to survive long enough to follow them." The silence that followed was deafening. Then Thane's laughter echoed through the comm channel, cold and bitter. "The ghost of Earth's burning. How poetic. Did you enjoy watching your homeworld die, Admiral?" Maya's synthetic fingers tightened on her chair's armrests. "I enjoyed watching your fleet run from a single human battle group at Proxima. Your father's tactical genius is on full display. My father died in that battle." Thane's composure cracked, revealing raw grief underneath. "Killed by human treachery and dishonorable tactics. Killed by superior strategy," Maya shot back. "Something Korrath doctrine has never valued." "Enough." Thane's command cruiser emerged from the nebula, its weapon systems charging to full power. "I'll finish what my father started. All ships converge on that corvette. Fire at will." The next 20 minutes became a deadly dance through the asteroid field, with Maya's corvette weaving between massive rocks while energy beams lit space around them. Jin's piloting pushed their aging ship to its limits, while Zara worked miracles, keeping their systems online under extreme stress. "Hull breach in Section C," Brutus reported. "Sealing now." "We can't keep this up much longer," Zara warned. "The resonance drive is running at 110% capacity. If we push it harder, it'll either give us the edge we need or kill us all," Maya finished. "Acceptable odds." She watched the tactical display as Thane's remaining forces maneuvered for a killing blow. The Korrath commander was good, better than his father had ever been, but he was fighting the wrong war. "All stations, prepare for Operation Starfall. This is going to hurt." Maya activated the Corvette's self-destruct sequence, then immediately canceled it at the last possible second. The interrupted detonation created a massive electromagnetic pulse that temporarily blinded all nearby sensors, including their own. In those few seconds of mutual blindness, Gene performed the most dangerous maneuver of his career. He slammed their corvette into a full-power dive toward the nebula's core, where gravitational anomalies made navigation nearly impossible. "They won't follow us here," Maya said as her ship bucked and rolled through gravitational shears. "Korrath doctrine forbids unnecessary risks." "Define unnecessary," Zara gasped, fighting to keep their artificial gravity online. "Anything that might result in losing a ship to achieve victory," Maya replied. "Their ancestors conquered half the galaxy through overwhelming force, not tactical innovation. They've forgotten that sometimes you have to risk everything to win." Jin's antenna twitched. "Contacts. Multiple vessels emerging from a nebula's far side." Maya's heart stopped as the sensor display resolved. 6 more ships, moving with the coordinated precision that marked experienced crews. But these weren't hegemony vessels. Their design signatures were completely unfamiliar. Unknown ships. This is Admiral Thane Korrath of the Hegemony Academy. You are interfering with authorized military exercises. Withdraw immediately. The lead vessel responded with a voice Maya recognized, though she hadn't heard it in 3 years. Captain Sarah Mitchell, former commander of the Terran cruiser Defiance. This is the Free Human Fleet, Admiral Korrath. We're here to collect our wayward admiral and demonstrate that humanity is far from extinct. Maya's synthetic eyes widened as she recognized ship after ship. Vessels that should have been destroyed at the Battle of Seoul, somehow rebuilt and refitted with technology she'd never seen before. Sarah? Maya's voice cracked with emotion she thought buried forever. How are you alive? How is any of this possible? Long story, Maya. Short version. We've been busy these past 3 years. Turns out being hunted across the galaxy is excellent motivation for rapid technological development. The Free Human Fleet deployed with precision that made Maya's heart soar. These weren't the desperate refugees who'd fled Earth's destruction. They were veterans who'd spent 3 years learning to fight smarter, harder, and with less honor than their enemies. Thane's remaining forces found themselves caught between Maya's corvette and Sarah's battle group. For a moment, the Korrath commander hesitated, his tactical programming struggling with an unprecedented situation. That moment of hesitation cost him the battle. All ships, execute pattern Omega, Sarah commanded, and the human vessels began a maneuver Maya had designed but never tested. They paired off, using overlapping fields of fire to create kill zones that channeled enemy movements into predetermined patterns. Thane's destroyers tried to break through, but found their every move anticipated. Human tactical AI, evolved through desperate necessity, predicted Korrath responses with unsettling accuracy. Impossible, Thane whispered over open channels. Our doctrine is classified. You couldn't know our response patterns. Your doctrine is 300 years old, Maya replied, watching her people demonstrate everything she taught them about adaptive strategy. We wrote new rules while you were studying ancient ones. The war games ended with Thane's command cruiser surrounded and helpless, its weapons disabled by precision strikes that showcased human innovation. As surrender signals flashed across the tactical display, Maya felt tears of synthetic polymer streaming down her artificial cheeks. Maya, Sarah's voice carried years of separation and loss. Permission to come aboard? We have a lot to discuss. The reunion took place in Base 7, where Maya's journey had begun less than 48 hours earlier. Sarah Mitchell looked older, marked by the same exhaustion that haunted all the war survivors, but her eyes burned with a familiar fire humanity's refusal to surrender. 3 years, Sarah said, embracing her former admiral. 3 years we searched for you, while building something new from the ashes of everything we lost. I thought I was the only survivor, Maya whispered. When Earth fell when the fleets were scattered. Most of the command structure died at Seoul, Sarah confirmed. But the outer colonies had time to prepare. We evacuated what we could, took our technology underground, and started learning from our mistakes. She activated a portable holo-display, showing star charts that revealed the scope of humanity's secret reconstruction. Hidden bases, mobile shipyards, research stations tucked away in systems of hegemony considered worthless. We reverse-engineered capture technology, developed new approaches to warfare and survival. The resonance drive you use today, we've been working on that for 2 years. Maya studied the data with growing amazement, the power requirements. We solved the energy problem by thinking smaller. Instead of one massive drive, we use networks of smaller units that share the load. Distributed processing, inspired by human neural architecture. It was brilliant, elegant, and completely contrary to established engineering doctrine. Maya felt pride swelling in her synthetic chest. Her people hadn't just survived, they'd evolved. The Hegemony Council is meeting tomorrow, Sarah continued. Voss arranged for our demonstration to be broadcast across their communication networks. Every member species saw human vessels outmaneuvering Korrath battle doctrine with half the resources and a fraction of the crew. Political theater, Maya realized. You didn't come here to rescue me. You came to make a statement. We came to announce humanity's return to galactic affairs, Sarah corrected. But on our terms this time. The hegemony needs us, needs our tactical flexibility, our innovation, our willingness to challenge established thinking. Maya looked around the bay, taking in her mixed crew of outcasts and misfits. Zara was already deep in technical discussion with human engineers, sharing modifications that would improve both fleets. Jean and Brutus stood together, watching with expressions that suggested they were reconsidering their futures. What about them? Maya asked. My team risked everything to make this possible. They're welcome to join us, if they choose, Sarah replied. The free human fleet doesn't discriminate based on species. We judge people by their actions, not their genetics. Brutus stepped forward, his scarred carapace gleaming under the bay lights. I have fought beside many warriors in my lifetime, but never alongside anyone who combined such tactical brilliance with genuine concern for the crew's survival. If you will have me, Admiral Chen, I will be honored to serve. Jin's antenna twitched nervously. The Altarian Confederation will not approve of my defection. Then don't call it defection, Zara suggested with a grin. Call it a cultural exchange program. The longest cultural exchange in galactic history. Maya found herself laughing. Real laughter, not the careful performance she'd maintained for 3 years. Sarah, what's our official status with the hegemony? Conditional allies. They get access to our tactical innovations and technological developments. We get trading rights, territorial recognition, and a voice in council decisions. Sarah's expression grew serious. It's not the equal partnership humanity deserves, but it's a foundation we can build on. And Thane will probably spend the next few months explaining to his superiors how 4 outcasts in an obsolete corvette defeated his entire battle group. I almost feel sorry for him. Maya considered this, then activated her communicator. Admiral Korrath, this is Admiral Chen. Are you receiving? Thane's voice carried exhaustion and something approaching respect. I'm here, Admiral. Congratulations on a masterfully executed operation. Thank you. I wanted to extend an invitation. The free human fleet could use officers with your tactical background and command experience. If you're ever interested in learning warfare, that doesn't depend on overwhelming force. The silence stretched long enough that Maya wondered if the connection had failed. When Thane finally responded, his voice carried bitter amusement. Are you offering me a job, Admiral Chen? I'm offering you a chance to become the warrior your father always wanted you to be, Maya replied. Someone who wins through skill rather than birthright. Another pause. I will consider your offer. Perhaps it's time the Korrath learned something new. 6 months later, Maya stood on the bridge of the rebuilt Terran flagship Phoenix, watching as human and alien vessels maneuvered together in formations that would have been impossible under traditional doctrine. The free human fleet had grown, attracting refugees and volunteers from across the galaxy who were tired of rigid hierarchies and static thinking. Thane Korrath occupied the tactical station, his forearms moving with practiced efficiency as he coordinated battle group movements. His integration into the human command structure had been rocky, but his willingness to abandon Korrath military tradition had impressed even the most skeptical crew members. Incoming transmission from Hegemony Command. Zara reported from the communication station. They're requesting human advisors for the Synthesis War negotiations. Tell them we're available for consultation, Maya replied, at our standard rates. Jean, now serving as the fleet's diplomatic liaison, chittered with amusement. The Altarian Confederation is also requesting technological assistance. They're particularly interested in our distributed computing networks. Everyone wants to learn from the humans now. Brutus observed from his position at the security console how quickly fortunes change. Maya nodded, but her attention was focused on the tactical display, showing humanity's new territories. They were small compared to major powers, but growing steadily as more species recognized the advantages of flexible thinking and adaptive strategy. Admiral, Sarah's voice came from the ship's internal comm. We're receiving a priority message from the outer colonies. The ethereal collective is massing forces near the Vega system. Maya smiled, the same predatory expression that had once struck fear into hegemony admirals. Then it's time to remind the galaxy why humanity earned its reputation. All ships, prepare for jump to hyperspace. Let's show the ethereals what they get for threatening human space. As the Phoenix engaged its hyperdrive, Maya reflected on the journey that had brought her here. From the ashes of Earth destruction to the bridge of humanity's new flagship, the path had been marked by sacrifice, deception, and the kind of desperate innovation that emerged when survival was the only option. But humanity had always been at its best when facing impossible odds. The galaxy was about to remember why. Jump complete, Thane reported. Enemy forces detected on long-range sensors. Estimated strength, 300 vessels. Our strength? Maya asked. 47 ships, Sarah replied from her position as fleet coordinator. Maya's grin widened. Perfect. Those are the kinds of odds humans were built for. The free human fleet deployed into attack formation, each vessel moving with a fluid precision that marked crews who'd learned to think beyond traditional limitations. As they approached the massive ethereal armada, Maya opened a channel to broadcast across all human frequencies. This is Admiral Maya Chen of the Free Human Fleet. Today, we don't fight just for territory or resources. We fight to prove that innovation beats stagnation, that adaptation conquers rigid doctrine, and that humanity's greatest strength has always been our refusal to accept defeat. She paused, watching as her battle group accelerated toward overwhelming odds with the kind of casual confidence that had once made humanity the galaxy's most feared military force. Today, we remind everyone why they made a mistake when they thought they could bury us. Today, we show them that humanity doesn't just survive, we evolve. The first energy beams began to flash between opposing fleets, painting space with colors of war. But Maya felt no fear, only the fierce joy of a predator finally allowed to hunt again. Humanity was back where it belonged, in the thick of the fight, proving that sometimes the best way to solve an impossible problem was to attack it from an angle nobody else had considered. The galaxy was about to learn that lesson all over again.